Scarlet Park, Bubba Sparks.
Booty, 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 rockin' everywhere. Booty, 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 rockin' everywhere. Booty, 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 rockin' everywhere.
Alright, so YouTube, this is Desi and I'm back with another video, y'all. So with this video is going to help you out as far as for your interview. Whenever doing a phone interview, whenever you hear that you have an automated interview, this is one of the videos that can pretty much help you out. Now, if you ever look on Indeed or mainly Indeed though, a lot of jobs on there as far as for medical or whatnot, they always have you do, sometimes they have you do like an automated phone interview first before they have you do anything else. So I figured that this video would be good, especially if you're trying to look for a new job as far as for medical assistant. Maybe this can kind of help you out. So I'm gonna talk about the 7 most top interview questions that's asked and the answers that can kind of go with it. So for first one, you're always going to get this asked first. Like, so usually whenever you have like a automated interview or whatnot for Indeed or something like that, the first thing they're going to do is, okay, just to make sure everything works, let's verify the sound. They'll make like a sound or something, make sure, press a button if you're able to hear it, and then after you get done confirming all that, then they're going to get right into it. So the first thing that usually they ask is, tell me all about your experience you have as a medical assistant. So the first thing you want to end up doing is good to mention out your medical assistant experience as far as for internship or externship. You also want to mention your communication skills, because that actually stands out as far as for how you can work good with the patients, and also the reason why you would fit good for the company. For the most part, whenever talking on the phone, when doing these automated interview questions, always time yourself. Like, you want to time yourself. You don't want to give so much time to one answer and then the next answer you're literally like 5 seconds. So you want to make sure you're giving a lot of good details, but keep it short and sweet. If they ask me, tell me a little bit about your experience as a medical assistant. So if I didn't talk about the job that I have right now, I'm gonna just talk about as far as for my externship, to make it seem as if like I'm a fresh person out in the field. So one thing I would say is, okay, so I currently go to Fortis College. I have my experience as far as for phlebotomy. We'll make sure that we grab one of the students and we can perform our phlebotomy experience on them. We also make sure that we document down each stick that we have. I also have experience with capillary sticks as well too, where we do the finger pricks. Not only do I just have experience with phlebotomy, I have experience as far as for EKG. We also make sure we grab a student and do that as well. And then, you know, just a little bit just to kind of sum it up as far as for that with your medical assistant experience. As far as for communication, you could say something like, if you don't have any experience as far as for communication with patients, you could start off by talking about my communication skill is really good when it comes to the professors at the school that I work with. I don't have no communication skills as far as for the patient just yet, because I haven't finished my medical assistant term. But however, I am looking forward to getting to the field to see exactly what it's like, and that could just kind of be something sweet, you know, something just short. Another thing that you could ask for, just to kind of throw in there as far as for making you kind of stand out, mention on why you fit good for the company. So a good thing you could say, a reason why I feel as if I'll fit good for the company is because I'm willing to go ahead and show as far as for what I learned. Everything that I learned from Fortis College, I'm willing to put into real life. I have had Dean's List as far as for keeping up with my 3.7 GPA. I was striving for President's List, but for the most part, I definitely got Dean's List twice throughout my term. Also been good with perfect attendance. You got to bring up the good stuff so they can kind of know that you'll be good for that company. And if you can, try to throw in a question as far as for that, if you're able to verbally talk to someone. But if it's an automated one, just try to sum it up the best way that you can. Question 2, in any of your training, do you have any experience with electronic health records? So with this question, you basically just explain if you had any experience as far as for electronic health records. If you haven't had any experience, just go ahead and tell them flat out no. Don't ever lie about having experience with electronic health records. I'm telling you, a lot of people will get themselves stuck with that, and it's not good. Because at the end of the day, if you lie about it, once you, say for instance, you get the job, and they're like, oh, she got experience with electronic health records, she don't need help. And say for instance, you try to even keep the lie going and say, no, I just need a little refresh on my memory. Everything is going to seem entirely new to you. So if you never had experience as far as for electronic health records, just keep that up front. But something that I would say as far as for this question, if I'm talking real life, I would say yes, I have had my experience as far as for electronic health records. Currently at the job that I'm employed now, we pretty much work with e-clinicals. That is our electronic health records. I pretty much check in and check out the patients. I know how to put in the vital signs. You know, you just pretty much tell them what you're good at doing. The third question would be, how can you as a medical assistant make sure you're following Hipaa regulations and ensure the patient's privacy? Now this one is a good one. You want to mention out the understanding of Hipaa regulations. And Hipaa basically means as far as for privacy, anything that deals with the patient, you don't want to let anybody know. You want to keep everything confidential and just like I say, just keep everything confidential. You don't want to share anybody information. Also, you want to talk about the proper training that you have received as far as for Hipaa. We also have a class that we take as far as for medical assistant schooling for OSHA and Hipaa. So if you can, try to bring that up. Talk about how you completed the 4 hours as far as for that, or drug and alcohol tests, just to make sure that you kind of like throw it back to that topic to kind of keep everything all together. And also just make sure that you just really like express the facts as far as for the standard regulations as far as for Hipaa. You could say something like, as far as for one thing I can assure of while being a medical assistant at your company, I will make sure none of the patient's information is shared. I will keep everything confidential. Anything that the patient shares with me in the room will stay in the room with me, unless told otherwise by the provider or physician. That's how you kind of want to keep that one. But with Hipaa guidelines, always keep the patient information confidential. You don't ever want to share out any patient information. The fourth question they'll ask is, do you have any experience handling front office, and are you comfortable answering phones and greeting patients? So this question is really easy. A lot of people may strive best with this question. A lot of people choose front office better because they like to kind of sit down a lot. So if you feel as if this is something good that you can kind of already express on the fact, like, yes, I would love to do front office. I love talking to patients. I love handling phone calls. I feel like I'm fast paced when it comes to phone calls. That could be a plus for you. So that throws in with the administrative skills. Fifth question will be, what phlebotomy training have you had, if you had any, and are you okay with drawing blood if needed? So with this question, you just go ahead and talk about your phlebotomy skills. If you haven't had any phlebotomy skills as far as for real life, just talk about your phlebotomy skills while being at a medical assistant schooling, because at the end of the day, before you graduate medical assistant school, you have to have a list of sticks as far as for a certain number before graduating. You have to make sure you document all that. So that can go in with that question if you don't have any experience. So that's a good question. The sixth question is your previous job or internship/externship have taken any patients' histories or checked patient vitals? So this question basically asking, do you have any history as far as for taking vitals? And that's another good question, because for medical assistant school, we also have to make sure that we document how many vitals we take. Now, when I was at Florida College, we were taking our vitals every day. Everybody had their own little stethoscope and blood pressure cuff. We just kind of did it on each other. We would take our blood pressure every day and make sure we knew how to do it manually and also digital. So that's a good thing as well too. Make sure that if you know how to do both of them, throw that in as far as for the automated interview. Say, I have my experience as far as for taking vital signs, both digital and also manual, just in case if anything comes about at the practice. But I'm very excellent when it comes to vital signs. Blood pressure is a must. I always take the blood pressure, and when I'm done taking the blood pressure, I always repeat it back to the patient. Always repeat the vital signs to the patient, always. And always make sure they're quiet while taking the vital signs, because they get to talking at the wrong time. And the last question is pretty much, are you certified when it comes to CPR? If not, when do you plan on renewing them? So this is a good question too. If you guys watch any of my previous videos, I always talk about how you have to stay on top of as far as for your CPR certification. You never know what someone may need as far as for when it comes to the CPR. So just make sure you keep up to date with the certifications for CPR and also your medical assistant certification. Some jobs may ask that, some jobs may not, but even if they don't ask it, it's always good to kind of have on hand. CPR is definitely one always good to have on hand, because you never know what may happen in the practice, and they may just need you to perform CPR at the time. So CPR is also something you should take a lot more serious as well too, because a lot of people like to throw in the Good Samaritan law whenever, you know, an accident may occur or something like that. So just keep those things in mind. But these are the top 7 questions I figured that I can kind of help you guys out if you're doing any type of automated interview. I know they have been doing a lot of automated interviews as far as for the coronavirus, so hopefully this will be able to help you guys out. Comment below in the comments box and let me know what you guys think about this video, and I hope everybody have a good one. Peace, y'all.